Run Up the Score 21. I am back on the road again. But before I got on the road, I saw that Mike Coppinger, I believe it is reporting that Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders is about 95% done. They're just trying to work out a minimum purse for Billy Joe Saunders, according to him. Hopefully his sources are correct on that, because I would love to see this fight be made. Would love to see this fight be made for the beginning of May. For the life of me, man, I don't understand why some of these guys at 168 are either pricing themselves out or talking themselves out of fights with Canelo with the excuses. I mean, we heard rumors about Callum Smith pricing himself out for a career high payday of fighting Canelo. Caleb Plant saying it's too quick of a turnaround in between training camps, which I don't understand, because it's not like he fought a beast in February, last weekend, obviously, actually, and it's not too quick of a turnaround. I mean, you got a couple weeks break before you get back into it, coming off of a tune-up fight or a setup fight. Not understanding that. However, we're here now, and if Canelo fights Billy Joe Saunders, that is a beautiful fight. A fight I want to see, a fight I would be very much excited for. A little disclaimer, however, you never know that Billy Joe Saunders is actually going to go through a fight until he's in the ring, right? I mean, inconsistencies inside and outside the ring, as far as how many times he fought, as far as positive drug tests. So anything can go wrong in those 2.5 months before he steps in the ring. But I would love to see this go through, because it's your typical boxer puncher and Canelo versus pure boxer of Billy Joe Saunders. Both of them would have a game plan going into that they could feel confident about, right? I mean, Billy Joe Saunders, a guy who can use lateral movement well, fighting against a guy who the narrative is, when he has struggled, and he hasn't struggled much. I mean, Canelo is just a beast. Top 3 pound for pound, biggest name in the sport, and just a great all-around fighter. I mean, he is a great fighter. A lot to love about Canelo. But if we could point to times that he has struggled in fights, it's against guys who use lateral movement, more athletic fighters who use lateral movement, although he's gotten better against that as his career has gone on, as he's molded himself into this complete fighter who can do many things, which is why we call him a boxer puncher now. And he's not just an offensive combination punching machine how he was early in his career. He's turned himself into a nice defensive fighter, just an all-around fighter, mixed the offense with defense, great upper body movement, and he deals better with lateral movers than he did earlier in his career against guys like Trout, against guys like Lara, and against Mayweather. He deals better with lateral movement now. Billy Joe Saunders can use some lateral movement, can box, longer body, longer arms, so he can use that jab. He has things that he can go into this fight saying, okay, I have some advantages. I can use this game plan to be successful. And Canelo, the same thing. Canelo likes fighting guys who are taller. He can dig into their body. He likes fighting guys who don't have power, which Billy Joe Saunders doesn't have power. He's under 50% KO percentage. So he can go into this fight saying, I can dig into this guy's body. I can walk through his punches. He's not going to be able to, 12 rounds, keep me off of him. I mean, just look at Kovalev, a bigger guy, taller guy, nice jab, who was not able to keep Canelo off of him for 12 rounds. And Billy Joe Saunders would not be able to have the power to keep him off of him, keep Canelo off of him for 12 rounds, and just establish the pace that way and fight at the pace, that comfortable pace that he would want to fight at. That's what Canelo would say coming into the fight. That would be his game plan. So interesting matchup, good give and take, good game plan that both fighters will be able to use going into this fight. And that's a fight I want to see. I would love to see in this fight at 168. I would love to see Canelo just plunge into 168 and just start taking belts from guys. It would be a beautiful thing. And Billy Joe Saunders, this would be his step-up fight. We've been saying for years that this guy is ultra talented, great boxer, great athlete. But what happens when he steps up? Is he really a great boxer? Is he really a great athlete? Because we haven't seen him against top elite opposition yet. I mean, beating Andy Lee, okay. I mean, beating Eubank Jr., beating Willie Monroe, all decent wins against decent fighters, okay fighters. But what happens when he steps in there with a top 5 guy, or in Canelo's case, a top 1 guy, and a guy who is a pound-for-pound talent? What happens then? And a guy with ultra power, can punch with both hands, and he's a versatile fighter. And it looks like he's carrying his power up in weight with him, and he's not sacrificing much speed and quickness and hand speed. So if this fight happens, good for both fighters. Good for Canelo for seeking out the best fighters at 168 and wanting to fight him. And if Billy Joe Saunders does step up, I say a big if, because, like I said, the inconsistencies in his career. I mean, he's only fought since 2013. That's the last time he's fought 3 times in a year. It's all been 2 times, then 1 time in a year, then 2 times in a year, then 1 time in a year. He's been inactive, been a bit of a disappointment, to be quite honest. He's been underperforming his talent. So if this happens, this could be his big win, his big step up. So good for him for taking the risk, but he's getting his money, a career high payday, I would assume, if he's taking this fight. And if you're Canelo, like I said, there's a lot to like about Canelo in the ring, but also seeking out the best competition at this new weight class, at a higher weight class. That's just a Canelo move. Not surprised by that at all. So hopefully this fight happens. A lot to like about it. I'm out. Peace.